This is Alexis and Morroca at the TLC clinic in Vero Beach, March 21st. I'm going to let both videos go through from the morning to the afternoon regular play and then do a slow play review. The video on the left is your afternoon run. You ran a 19.431. In the morning is the video on the right and you ran a 23.038. So shaving off almost 4 seconds. And what I like about this mare is she really tries hard and you seem to be a good fit for one another. But the thing about her is you need to figure out, she has a lot of run home, but she's not quite ready to go that fast to the barrels because she's still learning how to carry herself correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and have it start again and do a slow play review. What I'd really like to see you improve on her is riding with less hand and more leg and body, giving her a nice pocket or approach into your turns, and rating somewhere before the barrel or at the barrel, but not turning until the back side. Now, as you will see here, in the morning, you're on the correct lead. That's the video on the right. But you give her a little bit more arc than she needs. She could have been in about just a smidgen tighter. So instead of coming from here to that point, you could have just been about right there to that point. And that would have been fine as well. I like your approach in the morning, in the afternoon on this side the most. So if you watch your two approaches as you're going into the barrel, I like the arc. You just saved a couple of steps by going more direct. Then this one you kind of came more of a rainbow to it. So the arc was nice, a little bit less in the afternoon. On both pockets going into first barrel, I like how much you gave her because she's a pretty big mare. I would say she would do best with at least a 5-foot pocket with her size. So being 5 foot off the barrel is really good for her. The only problem was in the afternoon on this side, she's on the wrong lead. So on both times she just doesn't have that momentum around the barrel. It was definitely faster in the afternoon, but if she'd been on the right lead, she could have kept her momentum and snapped out of the turn better. But you left both barrels pretty nicely, so I like that. Now I want to talk about your hand position. You get back to 2 hands. She's on the correct lead going to second in the morning and the afternoon. But right here is what I want to talk about. If you'll notice, your hand position is really high and you're looking in. What we want to do is we want to try to ride 2 hands all the way to our spot, a 4 or 5 foot pocket to the side of the barrel. And you need to see she's looking at the barrel, you're looking at the barrel, and you're already telling her to turn. That's why when she gets her shoulder to the barrel, she turns and then you lose your forward motion. Now, I like this one on the right better in the sense that your hand is lower, but you're still you're still looking in a little bit too soon, and you guys really should be thinking about riding straighter longer. Okay, so we're going to start that back up. Now, one thing here on the left, you're sitting nicely through the turn. If you got your hand down a little bit lower, you'd be out of her face. I don't like this one because you're pulling on her. She hasn't even got to the back side or the exit yet, and you're already telling her to come across the barrel. So we don't want to do that. From the entrance to the back side, you just want to keep your hand low and guiding. And then from the back side to the exit, you might bend your elbow and pick your inside rein up an inch just to help her finish the turn. So we want to really address those there. And so you had to look down and make sure you didn't hit the barrel. But I like how loose your rein got there, and you're letting her get out of the barrels. Instead of bopping her with the rein, you can tap her with your outside leg and turn your body more and sit through the turn and help her finish her turns. So that's what I meant by using more body and leg. And she had a lot more speed going to third in the afternoon, and I really like your third barrel. That's a really pretty turn. If you notice here, you stayed 2 hands a little bit longer, and you looked and rode to your pocket a little bit longer. So because you rode to your pocket a little longer, 2 hands, back that up again. See your 2 hands, your hands are lower and you're not getting in her face as much, and it's a really nice barrel. And your reins, you were bumping her. I still would like to see a shorter rein where it just touches your horn when you pull back, and keep your hand closer to your pommel. Do not pull it out over the barrel because then you're pulling on your horse and taking away the forward motion, and then that causes her to rubberneck her face. Whoops, let me show you right there. She rubbernecks her face and swings her butt. So we want to avoid that at all costs. The video on the right, your third barrel's good, but again, you get in her face and she loses her forward motion. So again, great job with this mare, but what I'd like you to think about, as I mentioned before, is you want to think about where you want to start rating her. About 2 strides from the barrel is where you want to be still riding 2 hands, but possibly sitting to help her. But don't go to the horn until your leg gets to the barrel. That way you're not causing her to turn when her shoulder gets to the barrel. And then keep your hand closer to the saddle horn. That will help as well. So for not pulling on her. And then use your body and your legs, outside leg or inside leg, in the turns and help her that direction. So the drills that I'd like to see you do with her, as well as rating before the barrel but not turning until you're behind the barrel and not pulling on her head. So I want your hands to get lighter. So what I'd like for you to do is do some drills that'll help you. I'd like you to set up 3 barrels in the set of a triangle, just like a cloverleaf pattern, but you're only going to do all rights and all lefts around them in the beginning, and then you'll stop and roll back, and then you'll go all to the left then, and then stop and roll back and pet her. And what I'd like you to do in the beginning is to keep all your circles 10 foot off the barrel, with her nose tipped slightly in, her shoulder picked up, her hip under her, and riding to your quarter turns. I want you to think about, as you're doing this pattern, I want you to think about riding to the quarter turn of each barrel, and not looking at the barrel. And what this will do for you, it will help you to start riding your horse forward in a go cue, a rate cue, and then a turn cue. And then a go cue, a rate cue, and then a turn cue. A go cue, a rate cue, and then a turn cue. And by doing that, what happens to you and your horse is you start to get to the point where you're doing much more fluid, much more correct body position. It also teaches you the muscle memory of keeping your hands correct as you go around the barrel, not pulling over the barrel, but actually just guiding through the turn. And remember, every barrel has an entrance, a backside, and an exit. And so when you're approaching the first barrel, you want to be about 10 to 15 feet from the barrel. But then right in here, 5 foot, and just try to keep a nice fluid 5 foot circle, or if you're in a competition, it'd be 5, 4, 3, and then head on to the next barrel. So I think if you do that, she's going to really progress well, and work on your rider cues, work on her keeping her hip under her and not getting in her face, and you two should see some really good progress doing those drills, and I think you're going to make a really good team. Thanks for coming to the clinic.